The next piece I have for you is it's a bit of audio I would like you to listen to. A mentor of mine, his name is Dave Wood. He actually works in a completely different industry, but he is absolute genius when it comes to understanding how the mind works and how you apply it to he talks in particular about your career and your job, and he's involved in the network marketing industry. But he has a fantastic way of getting across certain concepts. And the one that I have just picked out, it's picked out of a much larger audio. When he starts talking about something, he will talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. So I have just, so if it seems a bit disconnected, it's because I've just taken snippets out of bits where he's gone off talking about the industry or doing a sales pitch that it's really not relevant. So I've taken those bits that are relevant and put them together in a short audio that I would like you to listen to from somebody else about where he's talking about belief systems.
So guys, here's what you need to do. You need to stand up and look at yourself and be honest. Be honest. Be willing to look at yourself and admit the weakness. Admit where you're weak. You know, Dave Sharp, my business partner here at Empower, is one of the greatest people I ever met in my life. And, you know, he's been in recovery. He talks about it all the time because he does that, by the way, so he keeps himself accountable, right, because he knows where he's weak. He admits, right, his weakness and his flaws. He's been in recovery for the last, 4 years. But you know one of the first steps in recovery that I'm always hearing from Dave, he's always talking about, you know what it is? You got to be willing to admit and confess when there's a problem. See, most people will blame every single person and every single influence in the universe but themselves, right? I see people blame God for stuff, like God sitting around like laughing at them, rolling dice and making them fail and giving Satan high five in the background, right? I mean, this is what they do, right? People blame God. People blame their parents. People blame their upline. People blame the company. They blame the products. They blame the comp plan. They blame they blame, oh, well, my sponsor won't pick up the phone, so I can't succeed because I need a sponsor who's there all day picking up the phone, right? They blame the training system. They blame everything but themselves. They blame everything but themselves. And what I'm telling you to do is not to blame yourself. That's different. What I'm telling you to do is to admit that your success and failure is created and caused by nothing but you. And the second you take responsibility from that, you're empowered. You are empowered. Who are we? We're the Empower Network. So it's useful for me to tell you to take responsibility. Right? Take responsibility for your own success. Take responsibility for your own responsibility to what you're able to create and what you're not able to create in your life. You know, it's fascinating looking out into the world and looking at the deep-rooted ability we have to impact the world around us. Now, I'm not going to get mystical here because, to be honest, I don't know how anything works, right? I don't know how anything in the afterlife works, if there is an afterlife. I don't know how any of it works. But here's what I know. I know that somehow, magically, mystically, if you would, or scientifically, I don't know how it works. Maybe there's a quantum mechanical thing behind it. It seems that people create in their life exactly what they're expecting all the time, right? The second you stop and take responsibility and decide to project out into the world what you want to create in the world, you're going to get a very different result. And you know what happened when my sponsoring changed for me? This is back actually in 2006 offline. Here's what happened. It was amazing. And I still remember the moment when it happened. One moment I woke up, and all of a sudden, and I don't know exactly how I came to this belief. Sponsoring had always been difficult. I always had a difficult time making money in this industry. It was not easy for me, right? Then all of a sudden, one day I woke up and I looked in the mirror, and it's unbelievable change. All of a sudden, I believed it was easy. I believed I could get anybody in. Hey, don't ask me how it happened. I just decided one day to believe that it was easy. And you know what happened? I started sponsoring 2 to 4 people a month. Why? because what you believe tends to happen. Don't ask me why it works like that. It's just the way that it is. When you act in accordance with a belief, even if that belief is not yet appear in your world, what happens is, and don't ask me how it happens, and don't ask me why it happens, because the truth is, I don't know, and I don't care why it happens. It's just the way that it is. When you believe something and you act as if it's true, what happens somehow, some way, magically, what happens is what you believe it just happens. It just happens. There's something in your brain called the reticular activating system. Now, I don't know why somebody called it that, because it's the stupidest word I've ever heard in my life for something really simple. But this is basically what it is. It's the thing in your mind that proves to you that what you believe is true. You ever notice that? I mean, this is the easiest thing you could ever look at somebody who believes that something's true, and everything in their life proves it to them. It doesn't matter what it is. They could believe that God is a pink elephant. It doesn't matter. They're going to find all this proof in the universe that God is a pink elephant, right? They could believe that anything, and your mind will prove whatever it is that you believe, right? It's one of these fascinating things. I've had some really interesting experiences with this, and the more ADD you are, the more fascinating your experiences tend to be with your reticular activating system. But this is what happens. Whatever you believe about the world, your mind will seek through all the data coming in through your five senses, and it will find reasons why what you believe is true, and it will prove it to you again and again and again and again and again and again and again. That's how your mind sorts through information. Now, this is why your mind sorts through information like this. There's a purpose for that. The reason why you do that, and I want you to hear me out, because this is important for understanding why stinking thinking fucks up your life. It does. It screws you up. This is why it screws you up. It's because every moment of every single day through your five senses, you take in so much information that if you paid attention to all of it, it would drive you nuts. And the truth is, most of it's not useful for you anyways. So your unconscious mind handles almost everything in your life all the time. Your heart's beating, you're breathing, you're feeling things underneath your feet, you're feeling things in your hands. You're seeing so many things you don't pay attention to, it's unbelievable. Your mind replaces what you're actually seeing with symbols of it so you can keep track of data more efficiently, because your mind will only bring to your attention what's actually useful for you. You take in about 2 million bits of information simultaneously 24 hours a day, and you want to know how many you consciously process. You consciously process 5 to 7 bits of information at any given time through the day, and you're taking in 2 million. You know what happens to the other almost 2 million? You know what happens to almost all the information that you see in your life? You delete it. You distort it. You generalize it. You make generalizations about life. You make something look like it's like something that it's not. You ever walk by in the forest and you see a stick that looks like a snake? It's because your mind replaced what was there with a symbol that it thought looked like it. It happens all the time in life. And somebody who wakes up and they watch the news and they think about how negative their life is, and they think about how negative their job is, and they think about how they can't do it, and they think about how hard it is, and how I haven't gotten any results in the last month, what happens is your mind will seek to prove to you that this is hard, you're a failure, and you can't do it. You realize that? So step one is believe you can do it. Now, fascinating experience I had the other month. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this phenomenon here in a second, because it really is interesting watching the moment when somebody changes. Watching the moment when somebody breaks through. The shift in their face that happens when somebody creates a breakthrough. It's unbelievable when you can actually be in that moment with somebody and you can actually see the moment when their life transforms. Because literally at any moment, any time in your life, in 1 second, right now, as you're listening to this call, you can make a decision that you're going to do it. And from now on, the world will change. It's the way that it works, guys. It's not that hard, guys. It's not that difficult. It's difficult because you believe that it is. Your mind is seeking for the information to prove that it's hard. It's seeking for the information that brings you pain. It's seeking to prove to you what happened to you for the last 5 years is going to happen for the next 5, and the past does not govern your future. It's not the way that it is. At any moment, in an instant, your life can turn around. You can decide in this moment right now that your life's going to turn around. You can let go of all that trash in the past, because you know what? The past doesn't even equal now. Right now is an independent moment in time that's never existed before and never exist again. And you know, the reality is that right now you can rise up inside yourself and you can say, that's it, I'm in. And life changes. And I've been in situations like that before several times in my life where things have happened and it was like a moment from death. Like I was up in Alaska growing up, I remember, and I was driving in my car and I hit a patch of black ice going a little bit too fast because, I was a teenager. It was the last accident I've been in. I was 16 years old. Haven't been in an accident since then, thank God. But I was driving my car, and I hit a patch of black ice, and I slid. I slid in T-bone towards this intersection, and all of a sudden I realized I could die at any moment because I knew I wasn't going to be able to stop. I knew that I was going to slide out in the intersection. I didn't know if a car was coming. I didn't know if a semi was coming because that road, the speed limit's 50 miles an hour, so if something hit me, it's going to be going 50 miles an hour. Then I black out and I wake up. About a half an hour later, my head had broken through the side of the window, had my seatbelt on, and the school bus had T-boned the car right in front of my feet. I didn't get hurt. None of the kids got damaged. A couple of them had bruises on their heads, but they were all okay, right? And I realized 1 second of difference in speed, and that school bus would have T-boned me at 50 miles an hour right into my side. In a moment, your life can change. In 1 moment, your life can change. In 1 moment, your life can turn around. In 1 moment, you can stand up and say, enough's enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being broke. I'm sick and tired of listening to my stupid boss when I know I can be free right now. I'm sick and tired of going through pain and suffering in my life when I know that I can rise up and be all who I can be. And sometimes in life, you got to reach down inside yourself. You got to find something inside yourself that you didn't know that you had. And when you find that thing inside yourself, and sometimes it's just a little humility, and you say, you know what, Dave, I believe you, and I believe you that it's easy. All of a sudden, it's not just you that changes, the universe transforms. Because you decided to take action and you decided to believe that you're responsible for your own destiny, that God isn't making you poor, the universe isn't making you poor, it's not that your parents didn't believe in that you were a kid, it's not that you're not educated enough, it's not that you haven't been through the pain and the experience to learn it, it's the fact that you are creating exactly what's in your life right now, and if you don't like it, it's pretty easy to just stop and create something new. And you could do that even as we're speaking now. And the moment you do that, everything will change. Your marketing will change. Now, this is the interesting thing about the reticular activating system, the way the brain highlights information, is that literally there are thousands of differences between success and failure all through the day, but they're tiny things, not big things. And this is something that I picked up maybe a year or two ago when I was trying to figure out how I could explain to somebody on a napkin exactly what to do. They would do it, and sometimes it just wouldn't work for them. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? Why is this not working for somebody? Why is this person, they're taking this, they're trying to do it, and it's not working, right? And then I realized something, that there's so many differences between success and failure, you can't do it consciously, right? And people say, well, why aren't I succeeding? I'm trying. Because you don't believe it. So the moment you look at it, you say, I'm going to tear things up, life all of a sudden, in that moment, transforms, and you step into your power, and you stop being a wussy. It's amazing how you just stop with the wussy, and you step into the power. At that exact moment, your life transforms, and your unconscious mind will change 1,000 things that you do through the day that you're not aware of. Your heart rate will change. Your voice will change. Your inflection will change. The way that you sell will change. Your passions of videos will change.